In today's video, I would like to talk to the overthinkers, the deep thinkers. A society out there might call you crazy, might actually relate you to a mental health issue, or even you yourself, you might actually say, I don't fit in this society. What the heck is going on? Don't worry, I got you. Because I fall in the same category as you. I am even me myself, I am an overthinker. I overthink. And I've always seen it as something really bad. But now that I do have understanding of it, I'll say it's a superpower. And I want you to stick around to the end because I got a couple points and couple of my life experience that will back this claim up that it is better to overthink than not to think at all. Because the people that overthink are the ones that change the world. Hopefully this video is able to help you out because I believe I could only just say what I'm saying, but the real world is with you. So I want to start by saying the society out there might call you crazy. Even you myself, even you yourself might actually wonder like why is this happening to me? Why can't I fit in? I want friends, you know, because again, we human, we social being, we need friends, we need connection to actually evolve in this world, in this society, in this world as well. But whatever the society is telling you, trust me, it is the opposite of what is really happening. I want you to know this for a fact that the human's ways are not God's way. The human fear the overthinkers because it's something strange, it's something that is unknown. And just like every other thing, something that you don't really know, you know, that is strange to you, you kind of like deviate from me. Like, I don't want it. That's strange. I don't know. Maybe that is going to cause me harm or that is going to cause me some good. You know, people tends to, you know, stay away from things like that. And I don't blame them though, because this is our human. This is how we've been programmed to something that is really strange. You know, we kind of like, you know, don't want it. We like to stick to what we used to, the familiar. We want to stay there. But the overthinkers, I would say, are the one with the superpower. The society out there is really cool. They might actually call you crazy and everything. But again, God work in a mysterious way. What society is casting out, what society is saying, oh, he's a mental person, he's crazy. That is where God is actually working. And I want this video to give you clarity or maybe courage to actually push on through life as well. Because it's really cold out there, that I will admit. You know, we live in a society where we don't have enough thinkers. You know, people just want to do as they are being told. Do this, you do that. Do this, you do it. Do this, you do. People do not. I feel like oftentimes people do not really think for themselves as a human, especially as a man. And if you are a man and you don't have the power to think for yourself, I don't know what to say. I'll tell you, if you are an overthinker, it is a superpower. That is the God within you speaking to you. It might be strange. That is why I would say the number one thing is for you to understand what is it that you overthink it. Don't ask why, because if you keep asking why, he's always just going to give you a mental fog. But just understand it. Because this is the practice that I'm doing myself, you know, trying to understand myself on a daily basis, not asking why. Because one thing we often ask is why. And the more you ask why, the more you keep getting mental fog. But understand it. Once you understand it, you get to like work with it. I think there's a philosopher, I can't remember what his name is. He said life is like a dance, you know, just go through it, man. And I like that the way he said it. So if you're an overthinker, I want you to know one thing is that you're either a creator or you're a leader. A creator in the sense that maybe it's art, maybe whatever it is that you actually, keep you going to that deep thoughts, you just got to understand it and bring it into reality. Now, the only time that I would say overthinking have actually done disadvantage to me would be the time that I overthink and I never have the courage to take actions. Because overthinking without action, that is where the problem is. Overthinking is not a problem. I will say it is a superpower, overthinking, but you having the courage to take that action in a society whereby they say, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they want you to actually, be the same. But you have to have that courage to take action. Because I want to tell you, the world is yours, man. No one is like you. No one can ever be like you. So only few, really, I'll say only few really have the power. Only few have the power to overthink. Many people don't have the power. It is secret. It is secret. Not everybody have the power to overthink. Not everybody have the mind to overthink because of how we've been programmed. So if you are at this stage of your life and you're watching me and you still do overthink, it's a secret. It's a superpower. You have to understand it. You are a creator or either a leader. You just have to understand it and knowing the fact that the world is yours. I will be talking about the fact, my own life experience that I've actually experienced myself, where, one of my ex-friend, I would say, or ex-brother, because I do consider this person as a brother to me. Was my roommate back then. And, one of our friends, she's a female, she graduated from medicine and she called us over for a dinner, playing some card games, just kind of like have fun. I dress up nice. We went over there and doing the old thing, while we was playing game, we finished eating while we was playing game. My friend that I called to be a brother called me a maniac. Why did he call me a maniac? He said Elijah always dress up all the time for no reason. I felt embarrassed deep down inside of me because this girl that we went to our house actually brought her other friends. She brought her other friend that graduated with her just to it's kind of like a house party. And I never expected my friend to actually put me under the bus like that and put in front of all these beautiful females. I will not gonna lie to you. And you know how females are. They laugh and I felt really embarrassed within myself. But I kept it to myself, like, you know what, I'm just gonna let that slide. And that's another thing. We let some things slide over and over again. You have to set boundaries. I think I've said it in my previous video. You have to set boundaries. Without boundaries, people will walk over you all the time. So he called me a maniac, but looking back at it right now, I love the fact that I'm a maniac because I myself, I love to look good. I love to impress that guy in the mirror. My mirror is right there. That's why I'm pointing. I like to look good, look at myself, smell nice, dress good, dress to impress myself. And I think there's a saying that says first impression matters. It does matters. I'm not Facebook creator, Mark Zuckerberg, that put on one shirt all the time. Or, same thing over and over. I'm not. I want to dress up to impress myself, and wherever I'm going, I want to stand out. I believe as human, you should always look your best in any occasion. But back then it was just really something that, I never really grasped, because I felt embarrassed. So I don't know, maybe this story might actually help you. Maybe you falling in that category whereby the people you call your friend, like you see as a brother, they put you under the bus because of a female. There's this saying that I get to learn, while since I got here to United States, there's this saying, bros over hoes. I realize some men do not go with this code at all. Some men, they will do anything to get a female attention. They will even put their brothers under the bus to get a female attention. They will do anything just for female attention. Number two story and experience that I will be sharing, which will lead to my number 2 point that I have: zombies. I don't like to talk negativity, but zombies, I believe, and if you do watch a lot, if you observe enough, you will see we're surrounded by zombies. People who don't think for themselves, people who just, they do what, do this, they do that, do this, they do that. They don't, they just, there's a song by one of the greatest Afrobeats. His name is Fela Anikula Okuti. His music goes by Zombie. Zombie don't know where it's going. It's just being directed. Do this, do that. Do this, do that. So I have this experience of mine while I was at work a couple years ago again, uh, in Manhattan, New York. I've been working for this restaurant for 8 years, going to 1 year. And I always do my job good, man. I love whatever I do. I tell myself, you're not a professional. You don't have one specific profession. Anything it is, for as long as it's not robbing, killing, or doing something illegal, I'm always down to get my hands, dirty just to put the food on the table. I'm always down. So I work in this restaurant as a food runner, and on this day, the head chef, the head chef mistakenly, I use that word mistakenly because I still believe it was a mistake, but he refused to accept the fact that it was a mistake. The head chef mistakenly overcooked the broccoli. He overcooked the broccoli, and as a food runner, I don't know if anyone that's watching me is into, restaurant or food industry. As a food runner, the food runner is the last person that does the final touches on the food in the kitchen before it gets to the table in front of the guests. So I look at the broccoli is mushy and overcooked. And I bring it to the attention of the chef. This broccoli is overcooked. The chef responded, "This is how we cook our broccoli. The broccoli is not overcooked." I said, "Okay." And the head chef went in deep as well. He went to call the other two chef and tell them, he called them to come stand in front of me and tell them, Elijah is telling me, and Elijah is teaching me how to do my job, telling me the broccoli is overcooked. And they look at the broccoli, and I know for damn well that broccoli is overcooked. But these other two chef and the other coworker laughed at me, saying, they just laughed. They never said nothing. They just laughed at me. But I went, put the food down, do that, that went by. But later on in the night, during closing hour, one of the female chef came to me and said, "Elijah, in this kitchen, it's always yes, chef, yes, chef. You can't go back and forth with the chef." That reminds me, I'm not a big fan of reading. I will always say it. I'm not a big fan, but I do read. And one of the books that I actually read is Power by Robert Greene. And one of his first principles is never outshine the master. When I read in deep in that book, I realize, I think this is what the chef is actually. He think I'm trying to outshine him or think otherwise. I don't know what he was thinking was, but I just think the way he acted on that day is related to Robert Greene number one rule: never outshine the master. He thought I was teaching him how to do his job, but I was just telling him feedback that the broccoli is overcooked. Then I realized some people that don't like no feedback. They don't like no feedback. They always want that good review. Yeah, yeah. But I believe for you to be a good leader, for you to be a good person, you have to welcome criticisms as well. The feedback is really, really important. I look at these other two chefs, and I look at them as zombies. They know this, and excuse my language, man, but this is how I just see them. You know, knowing the fact that the bottle is overcooked, they can't really say nothing. They just do as they are being told. You know, to me, I believe this is the society we live in right now. People who are not able to think for themselves, they are always do, they are always, with no direction, and it's really hurt. So if you find yourself in this category whereby you overthink, it is a secret. You have to understand it. It is a superpower. You have to understand it, that there's nothing wrong with you. There's no mental issue. It is a superpower that society really fear, because society only fear people who they cannot control. So if you do overthink, know that you are about to break free from that matrix of being a follower or being a zombie